Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Georgia from Georgia's Shenanigans, and I thought today we would start off with some boho kind of hippie beaded bracelets that I've been making. I love them. As you can tell, I've made 6 and I'm going to make another 4 today. I've got silver. This one's got a little rectangular shaped button, which is a little bit different. It's sort of cute. And of course, for a button like that, your loop can actually be a bit smaller. But anyway, we'll progress and I'll set this up and get some beads out and I'll show you how to make them. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so you want to start by putting a crimp on your wire, and then you need to thread all these little beads on. This wire is, I think it's a 0.5 millimeter. The beads are a 4 millimeter bicone, most of them. There's one there that's a little faceted rondelle, which is fine as long as the beads are small and they match what the rest of the bracelet's going to have. That's all you need. So we pop them all on, and you need to make sure that they're going to make a loop that's big enough for your button. So just to check it, just pull it all together, sort of. It's a little bit tricky. Hold it with your fingernails, as long as the beads are tight, and pop your button through. Now that goes through easily, which is what you want. You want it to be easy, because by the time you put it all together and crimp it, it's going to be a little bit tighter. So you want to make sure it'll go through easily. So now we just need to pop our wire through our crimp. You don't want to put too much of a tail through, just a short tail, and pull this one down. So make sure all your beads are nice and tight. Grab your crimping pliers. Sorry, I'm trying to hold my hands up and I've got the shakes, which isn't unusual for me, but anyway. So pop it in your crimping pliers. Now the crimping pliers will sort of fold it into like a taco shape. Now one really important thing is that you don't want your wires to cross over inside the crimp. So you can see on mine that they haven't crossed over, so that's good. That's what we want. So now in your crimping pliers, you've got these little notches where you can squeeze it in. And as I said, I'm going to have to move my hands down here to do it. I can't hold it up. Right, so remove your little bead stopper off the end. Now I don't know if you've seen these. They cost like $1 each. They're not even that, I don't think. They come in a couple of different sizes, but these are fabulous. You know, people put tape on their wire or their cord, or they put peg or a clip, you know, a paper clip. These are just so convenient. They're so cheap and so convenient. I really, really love them. I use them all the time. So now we need to thread on our beads. And we'll start with our stainless steel ball, and I'll show you what I mean with that. So see how it goes straight down over the crimp, and you haven't got one of those ugly covers sitting there. And now we want to thread on our beads. So with this style of bracelet, you can tell by the other ones that I showed you, the bigger beads go in the middle. So I've put these kind of in an order. Now, they can be just completely random, or you can try and concentrate your bigger beads in towards the middle, which is what I usually do. I think it looks a bit better. You don't have to. Obviously, it's your bracelet. You can make it however you want. So I'm just threading these on. Sometimes with the bigger beads, you're better off picking them up. Big bicones, any bicone really. Not my favourite bead. They're okay, they've got their place. I love these ones. These are a faceted rondelle. I think they're about a 12mm by about a 10mm. They're really pretty. Got these square beads as well. Now, I really like square beads, particularly when they're mixed with other sizes. Some people, I've had people say, oh no, I don't like the square beads, but I really like them. So I don't know what people's problem is, but maybe it's just my taste. I don't know. What do you think? I'd love to know what you think about square beads or cube beads. They can be, you gotta watch when you're using all cubed beads because they can tend to be a bit stiff if they're all strung together. If they're strung with other shapes, they're okay. But if they're strung all cubes, yeah, it's not very successful. So watch out for that. If you're buying jewellery or making jewellery, if it's all cubes all put together, it's probably going to be stiff. Okay, so we've got the beads that I've chosen. So we'll just have a little look at how long this is. And we're looking at just over 19 centimetres. So for people in inches, it's 2, 4, 6, about 7.5 inches, thereabouts. Okay, so we've got a nice long piece of wire left over. So now we just need to add our button. So we're going to pop a crimp on. We're going to pop a wire guardian on. Now I'll show you these. Oops. They're a little U-shaped guard, and your wire threads up through one side and then down through the other. And what that does is it protects the wire from wear. So we pull that up so it sits like that on your wire. You can see that. Now we need to thread our button on. They're actually pretty easy, these bracelets. So there you go. The button just sits in the end of the guardian. Squeeze your guardian together like that. You can see that. Now you want to thread your tail of your wire back through your crimp. Mine's got a little bit bent. So there you go, that's what you've got now. And now you want to, this is a little bit controversial. Some people say it's not necessary. I always do it. I always thread the tail of the wire back through the first, 3 or 4 beads. And then that way they're tucked away. The tail's tucked away. So I just do it like that. And then you can pull your wire down. Now if you're having trouble pulling it down, it's because your crimp's too close to your guardian. So just pull it like that. So now your tail is coming out between a couple of other beads. Now you just want to make sure that it's not too tight, and this isn't. So if you can spin around like that, look at that. This is what I do. This is what I do to myself all the time. This tail sticking out. Now, if I didn't notice that, I would have been really grumpy. So I just extend that out a little bit. Pop this tail in. It's not the end of the world if your tail isn't tucked in. You can just cut it off. I prefer not to. So there we have it. So there we go. So tails are tucked in and we're ready to crimp it off. So again, make sure it's not too tight now that we've done that little adjustment. You always want to make sure that your beads aren't too tight when they're on wire, because if they are, your piece will be really stiff. And you know, I do tend to sometimes crimp too tight, and yeah, it's most disappointing when I do that. So that one's crimped, so I just need to fold that over. Okay, so that crimp gave me a little bit of grief, so I'll probably cut a little bit out there. But anyway, it just wouldn't bend over. So now we need to cut off our tail. So just grab your flush cutters and you want to cut it right down at the bead. So you've got nothing sticking out. Make sure you're nice and strong. You should actually do that before you cut it off. And then, oh, one of my favourite things, is a crimp cover. So they're a little, these ones are stainless steel. These are 4mm, and they're just shaped like that. So that, you pop it over your crimp and squeeze. So you don't squeeze them too hard. You just bring the open parts together and then just kind of round it off a little bit with your pliers. Now the crimp's going to be, or the crimp cover, it's going to be hidden under the button, but you know, at the same time you need to cover the crimp. You can't just leave an ugly old squashed crimp sitting there on your jewellery. So I always cover them. I always try and use stainless steel crimp covers. Sometimes they're a bit hard to get, but yeah, in this case I do have some. So that's how that looks. So now that's it, your bracelet's done. So it'll pop through the loop. Now see how that's a bit tighter now? So something to be aware of. So there you have it. I love, love, love these bracelets. And yeah, I've sold quite a few, and I've obviously made quite a few, and I do have plenty of them in stock. They do look really good stacked together. So I'd love to know what you think. Am I obsessed? I think I probably am. They're all unique. None of them are strung the same. They're all completely differently ordered with the beads. They're all the same beads, but they're all randomly spread out throughout the bracelets. So yeah, I'd love to know what you think. Thank you so much for watching my video and persevering with me until the end. And I hope to see you in the next video, which will be really soon. Thanks very much.